Hello, everybody. What's your story, morning glories?
So do you have family in town this weekend?
I am family in town this weekend. Hold this for a second.
You got it, girl.
Hi. So anyway, I was born at, I'm from Cincinnati.
Oh, awesome.
Who's from Cincinnati? Really? Where? Oh, hi, Patty. Where's Cincinnati? You're from Detroit, Patty, by the way. You. Oh, Jesus.
Same.
Where in Cincinnati? Blanchester, I know it well. Anybody from Blue Ash? I'm out of here.
No, don't leave us.
I'm from Blue Ash.
We were actually having a conversation, I think it was yesterday. Somebody else was from Cincinnati, and they were asking about the putting chili on pasta. Is that a Cincinnati thing?
Don't
or is
be
that...
like that. No. Don't ask the obvious questions.
But is it obvious? I'm a Miamian. I don't know whether this is obvious or not.
I know in Miami they have Skyline and Gold Star. I've been to Florida. You're just playing naive because you're so cute.
Oh, is it working?
Listen, it's chili, but it's also a kind of sauce. It's called Greek chili. It's a little runny. Runny rhymes with Sunny, my nephew Sunny.
Yay, Sunny! Hi, nephew
And his
Sunny.
wife Jazz. And that's my sister Patricia right there, who claims to be
God.
from Florida. She's
I
not.
love this. We're amongst family and friends here
Yes,
today.
and these two live in Louisville, and they know, they should be the ones putting out the guide to Louisville. They know everything about it, all the fabulous places, all the hideaway places. But now we're talking about Cincinnati, and it's great.
Yay.
And the chili is runny and delicious. And if you go to Cincinnati and say, I want to have a four-way, you'll get chili. And if you do that in Miami, it'll cost you extra and you won't get chili.
Yep, that explains everything.
Yeah.
Well, it is an absolute honor to have you here this weekend. This is so fantastic, and I already want to say, like, I love your personality, and I also love your line of work, and I think that you are.
What's my line of work?
You're a sensational actress.
Oh, my body of work.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Sponsored by Spanx.
Oh, you too?
Yeah.
Oh, very
Thanks
nice.
a lot.
I think she was the first woman billionaire, actually.
I met her.
You did?
I did a show that was on Oxygen for a while, Oxygen Network, called I've Got a Secret. It was a weird little show, and they'd have people come in, and you basically played 21 questions with them, and she was the Spanx millionaire. Billionaire. Billionaire?
Billionaire.
That makes sense.
And then she's on Shark Tank this year and all that stuff, too. So
She is? She's on Shark Tank?
Yeah.
Hello, sharks.
Hi.
I can't wait to say that.
Why, do you have, like, an invention or product that you like to pitch?
I can come up with one quick if I get to meet Spanksy McSpankserson again.
Yeah.
I forgot to ask her a bunch of questions.
What would be the first question that you would ask her?
Does my butt look big in these pants? No, she's a brilliant lady. I dig her.
Awesome. Okay, so I wanted to ask, kind of first and foremost, because
You
I'm
look
also-
shy. Don't be shy.
Am I shy?
No, you said I want to ask.
I think that's just what I do. I don't know. It's one of those
Okay,
things, like, I
kitten,
don't...
kitten, go ahead.
Listen,
Ask me
growing up
anything.
here. I want to know, like, what attracts you to a role?
When it's offered to me, or I audition for it and they say you've got the part. I like to work on everything. I don't think I've ever said in that realm no to things, except if it was like super, super crazy. Hey, William Ragsdale is here.
That he is.
Herman's Head was an HBO show, right? Yeah. And I think it was the first show on HBO that had like nudity or something. Had like breastises in it. And I remember that, I said no a couple times to doing that show. But the night is young. Where's William? I will audition all over again. But no, I just, everything comedy mostly. I love it. And then Mel Brooks, anything, ever, whatever he wants, you know. Yeah, right.
Yes, Mel Brooks, of course.
On my booth, my table situation, so many people ask me about Mel Brooks and what's it like working with him, that I just wrote, say hello to Mel, and then everybody's writing on it like notes to Mel, and then I'm gonna cut it out. Do I have to pay for that, boss? No, tough shit. And I'm gonna roll it up and send it to Mel Brooks, because there's all these people saying like how much they love him and stuff, which makes me so happy.
Do you maybe have a Mel Brooks story from set that you can share with us?
Probably not from set, because I'll be sued, but no. He was absolutely wonderful. And when he was directing, it was like this hilarious director in my ear, but acting with him, and Carrie says the same thing, when you're acting with him, you can't help but go, oh God, it's Mel Brooks. Like if you think you're in character at all, you're not, because he does one little thing and then he goes, it's your line, Maid Marian. I'm like, but it's Mel Brooks. So good. He's so great. Go ahead.
Did he ever give you any like free reign to improv any of the lines, or was everything pretty much just like scripted?
Not only did he not give us free reign, but on Dracula Dead and Loving It, it was so funny because there were a couple things, and Steve Weber, my dear buddy, who was also in the thing, he was like, there'd be a moment that didn't quite work, and Mel would be back with his writers also directing it, also in it, and Steve and I would come up with something. We go, hey, how about, what if, and then he said, about day 2 of that, he said, if anybody says, how about, or what if, they are fired from my movie. Because he was kidding, but it really calmed us down a little bit. I was scared on Dracula Dead and Loving It, little claustrophobic, and I did not want to get in the coffin at all. And so they said, well, but you have to, we're making this coffin, just for you. And so I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. I guess, is that a
Nice
thing?
coffin. Yeah.
Thank you. Hold on to that, I hope, for a while. And, but I remember being on the set and one of the prop guys coming up and like talking to me and stuff, and he's going, yeah. I'm like, are you measuring me? They said, don't freak her out by trying to like measure her for the coffin, but they did. And if you'll notice in it, I said, I'll do it if I can like lay up in it a little bit. I didn't want to lay down. And that's my story.
I love that story.
It's creepy.
It's a little creepy, but a personalized coffin, I mean, that's an honor.
It would be here. We should be selling them. I should be in the exhibitor aisle.
Yeah, you could have like little mini coffins or something.
Dominic, let's get on that.
Dominic?
Whatever. Or get me a coffee. Get me a coffin, get me a coffee, whatever comes first.
Okay, so you said that you have a background in comedy. Was that just something like...
I don't know if I have a background in comedy.
Well, did you ever take like classes, or is it just, are you naturally this funny?
Both. I'm naturally this funny, and the classes did not beat it out of me, maybe. I don't know, just a goofball from forever. But I went to University of Detroit and Marygrove College. Detroit, who's from Detroit? See what I'm saying? For a couple years, did not quite graduate. It happens to all of us. Or I'm on my, what do they call the year where you take in between? I'm on a sabbatical from college. Is that what am I on a sabbatical from college? Wow, I must owe them a lot of money by now. But just, those are the jobs that, well, no, like, what was my first job? Patty, what was my first job? On what? No, my first, she got me my first actual job, which was, it was 1969, oh God. And I was on the packaging for the Easy Bake Oven, because Kenner was in Cincinnati, and my sister's a model, and she had a modeling job, and met however the fuck I tell the story now, I forget. Sorry. And it was like, so I was like, ooh, I got to be the girl in the Easy Bake Oven. Oh my God. And I was 6, and then I didn't work again for years. I was blacklisted, no. But I did a pilot with Parker Stevenson, directed by Bill Bixby. I mean, this is crazy, called Rockhopper, which had to do with American spies and Russian spies, which seems old school unless you watch the news, which we're not talking about.
Right.
Go ahead.
Right. Yeah, we'll keep away from that. So
Way, way away from that.
has this something like when you were growing up, your entire life, everyone's like, she's going to be a star?
Nobody ever said she's going to be a star. A star. I don't think it was ever about that. It was like what you say to like, oh, you're an actress. It's more like, it's not like you're an actress. It's like, oh, you're a little actress. Oh, you're a little it's like class clown situation where like it comes out in the places where it's not supposed to come out. And I'm like, how do we monetize this? Kind of like that. I don't know. I fell into it.
Did you? What, how so?
By being awesome and getting cast and stuff. Hey! I don't know.
Okay.
Okay.
That works for me.
I really don't know. I don't know. What am I doing here today? I have no idea. I mean, I know what I'm doing here today, but when you're like someplace and you're like, how did I get here? And you think about it, a lot of accidental and misadventures and possibly meant to be's, blah, 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 blah. And I am here.
It's serendipitous.
The word I love, the
That
more
word too.
you know.
Graphic.
Serendipity.
Yeah.
Serendipity do. Who remembers Dippity do? Do you remember it was like a hair? Do they make that anymore? That's what I need. Huh?
Oh, they still make Dippity Doo?
They do?
Sponsorship.
What was the other stuff called? Dep.
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
That one they still have, and then like the
Okay.
Blue Bottles or
Can
whatever.
we get that? I can sign some of those.
So, okay, so here we are at an incredible convention.
Agreed.
I was wondering, like, have you seen a lot of people this weekend dressed up as any of your characters? And what is that like for you to see people emulating your
Absolutely.
work?
I'm accidentally dressed up like Flo from Problem Child, and I didn't even. I come in and I'm like, oh, well. I was 30 something when I did Problem Child, 20, 30, 27, 27, whatever the heck, 27 or something. And I went in for the audition and they're like, great. I don't know, you might be a little young for it and you're too like put together, you know, they said she needs to be a little bit more, you're gonna like this, Patty. She needs to be like a little bit more like desperate and like trying to keep it together. So I found this sweatshirt that my older sister Anne had given me with like that she had bedazzled. I almost said vajazzled. That's a different thing.
Totally
She had
different.
bedazzled. No, we don't do that. And I wore it, and I didn't have I know it needed shoulder pads in it. So let's just guess what aisle I went down to find something sticky and shoulder paddy in there with wings for added protection. And I wore that, and I whipped my hair up in a weird thing, and I got the part. So I owe it to my sister Anne. But you were first, Patty.
I also like knowing that you're incredibly crafty now, too.
Oh my God, I am so super duper crafty. Yeah, it's really weird. Yeah, that's my favorite thing to do is Mom Guyver stuff together.
What do you like to make? Like, what do you create?
I like to solve problems. I like to find problems and know how to solve them. Every little thing in the house, like use things as things. I don't know, it's on an ad hoc basis, you know? I use a lot of magnets and a lot of metal.
That is very MacGyver of you.
See what I'm saying?
I love it.
Thanks.
Okay, so we actually have a microphone that's set up right in the middle of the room. Whatever questions that you may have, now is your opportunity to ask. Clearly, nothing's off limits here today, so...
Ohio State, Buckeyes, yes. Oh, yes, hi there. Oh no.
You already know what I'm going to ask you.
Yes?
So I've been trying to get a hold of Carrie ever since I first asked you the question, and he is impossible to get a hold of. Did Maid, Marian, and Robin Hood actually do the deed? Did the locksmith work, or did you find the key? What happened?
We never found a key. The locksmith did not come, and in that moment when I was making out with Robin Hood, I realized that was not for me, and I went and found the witch. And Tracy Ullman's character and I go off together and make many, many magical spells.
What a twist.
The more you know. That's what
I
happened.
love that.
It's true.
Yeah.
Poor Robin Hood.
I'm sure it'll
It
be all right.
happens. And guess what? I didn't have to take off my chastity belt. Picture your own whatever happens. Doesn't matter. It's not all about what you think. Thank you. Yes.
Hi, my name is Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
Hello. I didn't know you were from Cincinnati. I live in Covington.
I know you have an NKU
Hat.
hat on. I
Um,
love Covington.
I am a big Wings fan.
Poor
I
you.
was,
I wish it was still on.
So I was wondering if maybe you might speak a little bit about that experience and any memories or fun things to share. Thank you.
Steve Weber is hilarious. I could hardly keep a straight face the whole time. And he would like to, before we would go on, you know, like when you enter through a door and you're waiting, you know, like in the wings, backstage, whatever, there's that moment when you're your characters and you walk through, and if you walk through together, you have to be like having walked from somewhere. You know, you can always tell if somebody doesn't know what they're doing, they like open the door and like walk in. It's like, where did you come from? But I always, you'll notice if I'm ahead of him, which I usually am, walk through really fast because he liked to hold his farts in till right before action. And then he would hold the door shut in front of me and just hot box whatever little area we were in. It was literally like a little closet. Action, action, then he opened the door and I always go, but anyway, so if you could tell I was always closing my nose before that. It's a true story and it's about farts.
I feel like we're learning so much here today.
You're, ask me some more. Hi,
Hi, I'm Lauren
and you are dressed as,
Belle from Beauty and the Beast.
I know, but Belle before she has the, hey girl, that part.
Yep.
What do they really say? Bonjour, bonjour.
Yep.
Bonjour, bonjour. Okay, I love her because she reads books.
Yeah, I love her too. She's my favorite Disney princess.
Yes, me too.
So 2 questions. The first one
I'm
is...
sorry, you only get one.
Oh,
Psych.
Do people still use psych? Are we bringing it back?
I'm bringing it back.
Bringing it back to
when
psych.
Psych!
Psych.
Sorry, not sorry.
what
Wait, what'd you say
was-
your real name is?
Lauren.
Okay, go. Lauren. Sorry.
What was your favorite scene to shoot with Carrie in Robin Hood Men in Tights?
My favorite scene, my favorite scene is when he bursts into "The night is young and you are so beautiful." The night is young. So funny because Mel was like, "Come and listen to this song," and you know it's not him singing. It's a very famous singer whose name I can't think of right now, but whenever I hear him on the 40s channel singing other songs, I'm like, oh my God, that's Robin Hood singing. And we were listening to it and watching Carrie listen to it and get it in his head. And then when he was like blasting it in my face, that would be a bad place to cut. Thanks.
That's my husband. I have a...
Call a locksmith. With a squeegee. What? But it was so much fun because he was so into it and so romantic and it was so ridiculous. And it was one of those things where you go, how did I get here? Shit, Carrie Elwes is singing into my face. I'm being Maid Marian. There's this, like you're on the set, but you're not on the set. It was great. It was like a real mind, right?
Well,
Was that it? Were there 2 questions?
there was 2, but you psyched her, and now you
I'm
said the
back.
second one. Okay.
What was your favorite scene to shoot overall in the whole movie?
Overall, in the whole movie, kissing Patrick Stewart. Wasn't that the name of the movie? Kissing Patrick Stewart was good. And then I kissed him, and then he was really nice. We were laughing and stuff, and I said, hold on, I want to tell you something. Yeah, I said, one time I saw you on like Conan or something, and they were saying you're going to be playing Scrooge in London on the West End, whatever, and you said, oh yes, I think last year they had John Ritter or something, and you laughed. Well, they didn't have John Ritter, and you were making fun of him, so I want my kiss back. And he went, I'm sorry. And I said, okay. I said, John will love this story that I kissed you and you had to give it back to me. Because John Ritter, aces, right? Ask me some John Ritter questions. So Tracy Ullman and John and I, one time, I'm just kidding. He did work with her. He loved her. And when John worked with her, she said, is Amy coming to the set? We had already made our own hit. And I came to the set. What the heck was the name of that movie? And she said, and this is such, for me, this is like a big deal. And I couldn't tell if she was like BSing me or not, or just like having me on, as they say in England, maybe. But she said that the accent that Maid Marian had was like, which I just pulled out of my cartoon head, I don't know. She said it was very, very authentic and a very narrow sliver of the English accent, like spectrum, and called Kensingtonian. And I went that, she goes, just the royal family. Nobody ever says, I'm so happy. You know, she goes, that's just, and I went, I don't know where, like, I got that, and I kept it up. I'm glad she didn't tell me during the movie because I didn't know what I was doing. And anybody could, and when I told Carrie the story, he's like, no, it was no good. Okay.
What was like the demeanor like on this set? Like, obviously, like we're watching this movie, and you guys
Robin
are,
Hood?
Yes, like it looks like obviously you guys are having the time of your life. Were you laughing that much the entirety?
We were, and I mean, I didn't know who Dave Chappelle was or is in his heart and going to be, but he would kill. I'd go right over to him in between. I'm like, okay, review what happened today, and he would give me like his take on it. Fantastic. So cool, right? So cool. But when we were filming this stuff out in kind of Sherwood Forest, well, the forest part was on set, but like where you'd see like the fox run away and where the archery contest was and stuff, that was in a place called Antelope Valley, which takes, out by Magic Mountain, takes a while to get. I just remembered something.
Oh, may I tell us?
Okay. So Maid Marian was very padded, and so right here, and pushed together and padded. And so Richard Lewis would always go, "Welcome to Cantaloupe Valley," but it was Antelope Valley. That's all. This is a boob joke. What do you do? But because we were out there, Mel was on like a cherry picker thing with a megaphone and would be yelling directions to us because we were like out in the world, and he would yell. And he got this demeanor that we're like, where does this come from? And when the blessed Ms. Bancroft, Anne Bancroft, Mel's late wife, who was wonderful, I said, who does he turn into? What is this? And she said, he was a soldier. He was a sergeant in World War II, Battle of the Bulge, and he's used to, and he would like slip into it when he had a bunch of people, like one-on-one, to get people to move from here to here. He had that demeanor. He was keeping people alive from here to here, so the merry men like triggered him, I guess. And he was just like, I mean, in a good way, not like in a flashback way, but in like, to be in like that sergeant guy screaming out orders, and we live it. And once I told that story to them, they're like, oh, I get it. Because he'd like, do it again! And he liked to be very sassy with, if he loved your take, he would go, surprisingly good, we're done here. But you know, but then to each of us, he would be like very loving, but he kept it kind of democratic and even on the thing.
Okay, so since we have a beautiful, beautiful Belle in the audience, and we actually have Paige O'Hara here, who is from...
That's super crazy. I know, I'm freaking out.
I
haven't had a chance to like run around and like talk to people.
See, that's what I was going to ask you. Like, who are you a fan of, or what are you a fan of?
Nightmare Before Christmas, everything. Chris. I want to just get right. And Catherine O'Hara is a friend of mine.
Is
We had
she?
schools and
Oh, how
kids in school together, yeah. And the Sally song. Stop it! It makes me cry.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But when I saw Nightmare Before Christmas, I actually was lucky enough to go to the premiere. My agent at the time had like Disney people, and I was like, who's gonna get this? This is gonna sit for a minute. People are gonna go, what is this war on Christmas? What is this? And it's gonna take a minute for it to, but I knew, you know how you see something, you're like, this, like, I never knew people were gonna like Problem Child or Robin Hood Men in Tights. I don't know, it's like, wee. But like Nightmare Before Christmas, I'm like, oh, we're seeing something right here. Songs were so good and sticky and wonderful. But I do think it didn't do terrifically well. I don't know the whole history of it when it first came out. But now, it's like in people's hearts. It's wonderful. Yeah. I love it. I always draw like the animation, you know. Ha.
Do you draw as well?
Yes.
Oh my God.
No, I draw. I art it up as much as I can. I do a lot of hand building, sculpture, gargoyle kind of faces with big mouths coming out that you can stick your succulents in. Oh, that sounded worse. You know what I'm saying?
Of course
Planters.
I do. Yeah. But they're called succulents, right?
Right? There's my friend back there. What's your name? What is it? Tiffany. Go ahead.
I'm sure you've made a lot of friends here this weekend.
I think so. I've taken a lot of cards, and I've met very, very many cool people in the military and first responders, and a lot of doctors who know me from, because I'm going to say day job, my real job, or whatever. I've created and I run a foundation. Oh God, my back! Oh, those Spanx! Don't burn your Spanx. It'll be there all day. John Ritter Foundation for Aortic Health, and the John Ritter Research Program in Aortic and Vascular Diseases. Didn't know I was a genetic researcher, did you? Because I'm not, but I fund them. So my husband passed away in 2003 from an aortic dissection, which is not a heart attack. Sadly, when he went in with chest pains, 50-something years old, tiny bit overweight, they looked at him, they started treating him for a heart attack without thinking about anything else. That's the deal with chest pain, because most of the time it is a heart attack. But in this particular arena, everything you do for it is contraindicated the other way, because it's not a block and it's not the heart. Are you gonna cry? I understand. It's not the block, it's not the heart, it's a tear in the inside of the, see my little symbol right here? See the heart? And then this part represents the aorta. It's a tear in that part. So imagine, I mean, we don't want to imagine, but if you're treated for the wrong thing with blood thinners and stuff. So we lost John. I went, I don't want anybody to lose. So I started doing awareness for emergency rooms, for first responders. And then I found out about the genetic research that was being done into this. And I found the most amazing, my sister Pat, oh, Sunny, you met her too, Dr. Diana Milowitz at University of Texas, Houston. And we started funding her work. And there were like a gene, couple genes that you could kind of look for this. And now there's 14 genes that you can be tested for. They don't know the Ritter gene yet, and definitely, I mean, John's brother Tommy also lived, but had an aortic aneurysm that could have dissected in the exact same place in his body.
Is that something, so is that genetic or how?
Yes, absolutely, I know. So, and the thing is, I met some people at, okay, we have a team that runs in the New York Marathon, Team Ritter, see? And a lot of the people, most of the people that run are running in honor of somebody that's passed away, or somebody that's right there but that can't run, their wife, their husband, their kid, or whatever, right? But sometimes, and we have like radiologists, like it's related to it. Some kids came in, they're in their 20s, to me they're kids, and their dad had an aortic aneurysm and dissection, and they said, yeah, but the doctor said it's not genetic. And I said, okay, it is. And they're like, well, we don't know if we want to know. And here's the thing, in so many things, they're like Huntington's and other things where it's like, quality of life, do I want to know? Because there's treatment, but there's not. In this, if you know that you're at risk for it, you monitor it at some point, you put in a frickin' bionic thing, and you're good. So what I've been telling people who are kind of like this, also you'll be able to help your relatives and know, are you okay? Did you lose somebody to this?
No, but like.
John? Yeah. Pardon me. Don't cry your eyelashes off because you'll never get those suckers back on. I love you, sweetheart. It's okay. I've been hugging people all weekend. I'm just trying to show you my butt. I've been hugging people.
It's the space.
I've been hugging a lot of people. But so you get it. And you're going to be telling this story, and you're going to be saving people's lives. But what I told these three people, especially the women, because people often don't know they have the gene or that they have an aneurysm, because in the aneurysm, which is the bulging part, you can't feel it. There's no symptoms until it shreds inside. Happens a lot during childbirth because of the blood pressure surge and stuff. So a lot of those people were there. So we surrounded these three kids who had lost their parent, and we said, look, here, and I just was thinking, nobody knows really how they're going to die, why they're going to die, when they're going to die. But you know what? You three kids can know for sure what you're not going to die of, when and where, and that would be aortic dissection, because you'll be on it. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, this is a plus. This is modern technology. You're going to stay alive to be able to proselytize and preach the story of, if you have an aortic aneurysm or dissection, thoracic, which is this part, in your family, go to your doctor and say, John's widow told me to immediately get at least an echocardiogram, right? And nurses are the best at it. Because people go, I'll tell you why. People go into the emergency room, let's say, sadly, and they don't know they have anything, and they have chest pain or whatever, and they get, John was treated for the wrong thing. We've lost a lot of people, including Jonathan Larson, who wrote Rent, also died from this, because their heart test or the EKG comes back normal, so they're like, oh, you've got just maybe bronchitis, you've got this, you hurt your back, especially, sadly, women get sent home a lot by male doctors. I mean, I hate to say it, because they're like, oh, it might be like a woman situation, and these people die in the corridor, die when they go home because they haven't been checked for an aortic aneurysm and dissection, right? But after John passed away, I got so many stories, people like, okay, I was being sent out and checking out, and a nurse came outside of doctor's earshot and went, honey, don't go home till they check you for that John Ritter thing. And he's like, what? He goes, just go in there and say the words aorta. And can I see the doctor? And the doctor's like, can you check my aorta? You're 25 years old. My thoracic aorta, because there's abdominal aneurysm, which happens to older guys mostly, and they're like, oh, whole different differential, right? Diagnostic differential, go down this hallway, the sad John hallway, into the hallway where they do a CT, they see it, you fix it, you get genetically tested for it, because you know you're rocking the gene. Maybe you've got 5 kids, a couple of them have it, a couple don't, those are ruled out, those kids get tested, they have, changes the world. So we'll do that. I'm really sad about your eyelashes because they are about to fly over here onto my eyes. If they fall off, can I have them?
Totally.
Anyway, not to bum you MRFers out, but can you help me with this thing? Can you look at johnritterfoundation.org? And we've got the greatest poster program now called Think Aorta, just what I was saying. So instead of a brave nurse or family member going, excuse me, doctor, who also might think you're God, can you look at the aorta? Big posters that say Think Aorta, emergency room, first responders, all of that. It's been working in England, and we're bringing it over here. So Think Aorta US also. It's not all about Spanx and eyelashes.
No, I think it's wonderful because sometimes, you know, the research isn't there, and I think it's so awesome.
Research, it's all about that. The
Yeah.
genetic stuff is changing everything. It's not all cloning and science fiction, people. People, thank you for coming. You said you would and you did. You know, promise keeper.
Well, I think we have time for more questions. A couple while I compose myself. If
I'm
anyone
also
wants-
doing pap smears up here if anybody.
That's very convenient.
It really is, I know. Hi.
Hi, friend. How are you?
Hello, friend. How are you?
I'm well. Unfortunately, having lost John to truly a broken heart, or aorta, as the case may be.
Correct.
I want to turn, with all due respect to him,
Please. Oh, anybody. Always, please.
whose hearts have you broken that others, perhaps in the Hollywood circuit, or...
Are you asking me other people I've dated?
Yes.
Oh. This is so boring. No, because I'm kind of just some nice guy named Jay. You don't know him. He was an editor, and I was with him for a long time. And then before that, I haven't had very many boyfriends. I don't know. I think I was just saving myself for John Ritter. Well, not technically, but you know.
So you're not dating now?
Is that the question?
Would you like to?
Hold on. Yes! Get up here!
Hold on.
I'm authentic. If you can fool that, you're on to everybody. What's your name? What's your digits?
Lynn.
Huh?
My name is Lynn, L-Y-N-N.
Yeah, I'll name you something else, Lynn. Say my name, Lynn.
I got a place to put your succulents.
Oh! Hello, he's listening to every word I say.
This is definitely one.
Security? Just kidding. Go ahead. What's
Oh, this definitely is one of my favorite panels that
See what I'm
I've
saying?
ever had the opportunity. I mean, because you're just an incredible human. Like I
That's
said,
crazy.
No, you are. You're so special, and
That's
you know,
called
you're-
being a credible human.
Sure.
Do you know what I'm saying? Let's
Yeah.
all be human. All there. Let's be credible. I know what you're saying. It should be. I've met. Oh, are you back? What did I fucking tell you?
Sorry. I was actually wondering how it was working with Jim Carrey on The Mask.
Oh my God. He's a crazy, incredible person. He's so lovely and so sweet that I felt like I was gonna cry. Spoiler, who hasn't seen The Mask? Well, that if you're going to, the part where we're sitting on the stacks of newspapers and it turns out that maybe I'm not a friend, and he's like looking at, he's such a good actor. I was going, I'm sorry. I mean, he's like, no, that's not your line. I'm like, I don't want to do this where I'm mean to Jim Carrey. It took him so long to be in that makeup that he would sit in the trailer and like people would come in, get their eyelashes, their things all jazzed up. Cameron, we go in, we go like, he's still in there. It would take him like 5 or 6 hours, I think, for them to do this stuff. So the fact that he had the patience to do that and be able to act through that, that tells you everything you need to know about him. He's wonderful, and I've seen him many times since. He's darling. I really love him. I really do. I love him, and he's an amazing artist, too.
Yes,
He has
I've
a
seen
giant
some of
studio
those.
in Santa Monica that I may have to go and visit.
And then I had one more question. If you were ever given the chance, or if there was ever a chance to make a second Robin Hood Men in Tights, would you have done it?
Yeah. What did I say? Absolutely. What would that be? Robin Hood Men in Fishnets. It's an evolution. That would be so awesome. Wait. Men in Fishnets? Yes. Write that. Hi.
Hello.
Get on it.
Sorry.
Hi, what's your name?
Hi, my name is Jessica.
Hi, Jessica.
Hello, it was lovely to meet you.
Thanks.
Dracula Dead and Loving is a big family favorite.
Family favorite?
Yeah, it is.
I'm
Every
hearing, like,
Halloween.
I didn't even think of like family. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, generally year round. Okay, it's good. And also, like this past.
Hold on one second. You came. I knew you'd come. Yeah. Bye.
Yeah, I also
Maddie
got to
with
show.
an I.
I wanted to ask, how was it working with Leslie Nielsen?
Great. Are we back to talking about farts? He had a funny little pretend fart machine, and somehow it could make it seem like somebody else was doing it. He'd go, "Oh, excuse you," and I'm like, how is he doing that? And we just assumed it was just him farting, and then that was the cover because he didn't have a dog to blame it on.
Yeah.
He was great. He had a giant trailer, like the biggest one I've ever seen, because he had a whole workout system in there. Because the one scene in the movie when he's spoiler. He's a bat and he has to hang upside down. He literally had to like hang upside down, which is not good probably for anybody, but he had a guy that was working out with him, and then they would like practice for times, like how long like he could hang upside down. He wanted to do it himself. I'm like, we could turn the set around, but right? He wanted to do it. I really loved him. I thought he was a great guy.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Mel Brooks wanted to kill him, but
Fair. Super fair.
just a couple ways that Mel wanted him to do a couple lines, like, and he'd go, and they'd be like this, and finally Mel's like, hey, we got it.
Yeah.
And it turned out great, and Mel would like, oh yeah, I should have let him do what he wants.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jessica.
So, since someone before had asked about Jim Carrey, I'm curious because I know he had the documentary where he played like Andy Kaufman.
Brilliant.
And he was like in character the whole time. So when
Maybe
he-
more than that.
So right. So
Right.
when he was Stanley Ipkiss, was he Stanley Ipkiss the whole time?
No. What? I don't know. I mean, it's one thing being, because he was playing Andy Kaufman, who was his comedy idol. And he studied but Stanley Ipkiss was a cartoon character. Sorry. Oh, the con has murdered me. But in a good way, cartoon character. Not cartoon, he was from a graphic novel, or the comics, The Mask, which I have for sale, signed by me. No, I don't. But look on eBay, Can I do that? Dom's checked out.
With the coffins.
Okay. He says yes? Okay, I'll be doing that. So he got to kind of create the guy. So I'm going to say, yeah. I mean, I think Stanley Ipkiss was a little bit Jim Carrey more. There we go. Do you know what I'm saying? Because when he was like in his little pajamas and walking around, everybody's like, you just assume Jim has those pajamas and is walking around in his house like that. He was great.
Well, that's great.
Okay.
Okay.
What else? That it?
Another question.
Oh. Na microphone.
That's me. All right. So 3 things. Number 1, seeing you is terrific.
Oh, it would be terrific.
That's
I didn't
fantastic.
even know I said that in the movie, so people wanted me to write it on stuff. Go on.
Number 2, feel free to workshop this. Maid, Marian, Women in Spanx.
Oh.
It's happening.
Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. Number 3, you
It's
seem
literally
to have
happening.
you seem to have a fantastic sense of humor. I'm assuming you've talked about some of the hijinks that have happened from other people on the set. What have you done in a practical joke that you're willing to tell on set?
Mel had an assistant.
Okay.
He later worked on a show as an actor, on a show that I worked on called All Right Already with Carol Leifer. Nobody saw it. It's okay, whatever. So, no, maybe they did. And I had my little camera on the set. cameras were like this. They weren't phones. I don't know, it was a long time ago. And apparently he took my camera, and because I was taking pictures all the time, I wonder if I could probably sell some of those great with Richard. Okay, let's think. We got to workshop how I get that. And I didn't know it because you would take your pictures to a 1-hour photo, kids. And I got him back, and on there was one picture of him mooning me that he had somebody take a picture, right? And so what I did was, I went to the set the next day like I didn't know that, and to him and his buddies were sitting around, they're like, hi, do you have your camera today? And I said, yeah, do you want to take some pictures? They're like, no. And I'm like, okay. I said, yeah, I just sent off that roll of film back to Ohio for my mom who had passed away years ago, but they didn't know that. So I said, yeah, I sent it to my mom. She wanted to develop them herself. And they're like, what? And they said, how long does that take? I'm like, well, a couple days. And then like await the appropriate time. And I said, my mom's not doing well. This is horrible. Why? So they said she had some kind of shock or something. And the guy's just like, Ash, and I said, I'm just kidding. Nobody wants to see your ass. Don't do that ever again. But I played it out. It was hard waiting those days, like how long does it take the thing, and then 1-hour photo. So that's hijinks, right?
That's very good.
The
Thank you.
jinxiest.
Keep being funny. Thank you.
Thank you. Wait, that was 3 things?
That was 3.
Yeah.
What was the first one? Oh, twerific?
Terrific.
The fantastic, women in Spanx. Maid,
Women in
Marian,
Spanx.
women in Spanx.
Oh, okay.
The third one was the actual question.
Sit down.
All right.
So I believe we have time for one more question.
That seems impossible.
I know.
Hello, riding to the rescue. I love my fan. Watch out. You got it.
Hi. I got to
honey.
speak briefly with you in the booth. It was wonderful.
I give great booth. Right? I'm getting good reviews on that. Dom?
And I apologize if it was my I asked this question, but I loved you in Wings. Just absolutely loved you
I
in
had
Wings.
so much fun,
And,
too, except for the farting by Steve. All good. All good.
And your scenes with Brian were my favorite.
Thank you.
But how difficult was it to join that cast that had been established for years at
I have a
that point?
secret. I have a secret power, a superpower. See my sister right there? So there were 4 kids in my family, and they were, we don't care about ages. They were 18, 16, 14, and 12 when I was born.
Wow.
Same parents. I was born in September. Most little cabooses are, because usually it's the result of a Christmas present that didn't happen, and let's just push the beds together one more time 9 months later. September. So I joined. Did you get it?
It makes so much sense
Right?
now.
So I joined a tight group of maniacs with their history as a little kid. So it's a lot of observing, looking, and just going into it like you assume everybody's going to like you. I've not made an enemy in our family since. And also moving away helped. And I'm very comfortable in that. This is my first con. And it's like, are you nervous? I'm like, no. Because I just think, no, because it's just people. On some level, it's just people. Now, having said that, on Wings, there was a way of doing it and a thing and that, and you just kind of observe, be present, observe, see the lay of the land, try not to get in people's ways, and then slowly reveal your true goofball self, which is what I did. And everybody was very, very nice, except Crystal, everyone. She's great. Is she here today? We don't know where she is, but she's lovely. She is a lovely girl.
Around here, it's 9 months after a snowstorm, so.
That's right.
Thank you.
So before we wrap this up and actually take a big group picture, if that's okay with you.
How's that work? What do you do?
We have a photographer.
What's a group picture? All of us?
Yeah, if that's okay.
Hell yeah.
I just want to know if there's any final thoughts that you want to leave us with here today.
I keep calling everyone kid. Like, hey, kid, hey, kid. I'm 57. You look great. Thanks. No, I'll hold.
No, you look incredible.
Patty, how old am I? That makes you 147. Yeah, I wouldn't say that. But you know what the deal is? And I keep going, hey, kid. And it's because I'm a kid here. I see everybody's kid side, and not in the childish, but the childlike way of like all day long, all year long, all life long, to different extents, depending on how accepting your world is and your community is, you're keeping your superhero in, you're keeping this in, you're keeping your affiliations, you're keeping your fucking whatever your color on the rainbow is, every spectrum in the world in. And then you come here and you're like, here I am. And you're just kind of heart to heart with people instead of coming from what do they expect, everybody feels free like little kids here. I love this playground and I want to come back and back and back.
Well, I hope that you will join us again. It would
Yeah.
be an honor.
Yeah, 100%. Highest and best use. I figured it out. This is what I'm doing. That and saving people's lives from aortic bullshit. We're doing this. And you guys have to help me with that. You really do.
We will.
Check out, okay. And go on the Facebook page, John Ritter Foundation Facebook page. I'm bad. I have 4 grandkids and 1 on the way.
Congratulations.
So you all can call me Meemaw.